welcome you to Atlanta, Georgia, where summer has arrived, and so have the San Diego Padres, who are playing their best baseball of the year. Too Much Freddie Galvis is coming off a 5-hit night last night. Tonight it's Game 3 of the series, and we welcome you back to SunTrust Park. Atlanta fell to the Padres last night. This series tied at a game apiece. Tonight, Jeff Francoeur, it's Sean Newcomb's turn to get the Braves back in the win column. Who better? He's having a terrific 2018 year.
This is the guy you want on the mound today. We kind of let it go last night in the 7th inning, had a rough one, but Sean's been so good and consistent this year. You look, he's just been able to stay within the strike zone, even when he's not, you know, if he's walking guys, he's still right around there. And you look at this, his fastball's been so good, but what I like is he's throwing his off-speed pitches for strikes this year. This is a guy, like I said, you want on the mound when you need a win, and the way it's going today, you kind of feel like, look at this, he's been 7-2 this year in 13 starts. ZRA's at 2.92. You know what? He's been great.
Joe, he may be the de facto ace of the staff, not just because he's winning games, but he's also helping the Braves stop long losing streaks.
Yeah, he's not the closer. He is the stopper. With Sean Newcomb on the mound after a Braves loss, he is 5-0 and a real good ERA in the 1.5s. He's been outstanding at stopping any long losing streak and doing a great job for the Braves when they need him. Most they need him to get him back in the win column today.
Jordan Lyles, the pitching opponent for the San Diego Padres. He's been pummeled in his last 2 starts. As we saw last night, the ball is really flying here in Atlanta. Hopefully, it will fly for Freddie Freeman and the Braves tonight in Game 3. Big Mac is in town. Mark McGwire, the Padres bench coach, is raving about the Braves first baseman. We'll talk to him about Atlanta's MVP caliber first baseman next. Braves, it's Game 3. Freddie Freeman hit a homer last night. That has certainly impressed bench coach of the Padres, Mark McGwire, who knows a thing or two about home runs, and he's standing by with our own Kelsey Wingert.
Yes, thank you so much, Chip. We're switching it up today. We're down here in the Padres dugout with Mark McGwire. Now, this is the bench coach for the Padres, or you might know him from his 12 All-Stars as a first baseman. And, hey, you have a pretty good first baseman for you guys, and the Braves have a pretty good one, too, in Freddie Freeman. You got to see that 4-for-4 game he had in San Diego, and it's continued here. What is your impression of what he's done?
He's really, really good. I mean, that's an understatement. I mean, I love everything he does. He's a pure hitter. Power, average. He'll steal bases for you, gap to gap. The thing I really like about him is he's so simple at the plate. Head doesn't move. Just a short, sweet, strong hands, fast hands. Really hard to pitch to. You know, I do numbers every day as a bench coach. And when you do numbers versus Freddie Freeman, it's just you just hope you throw him. He gets himself out. That's basically it. But he's that good.
You know, this season we're sitting almost halfway through. He's hitting over 340, and we talk about what he does at the plate, but he's just as good with the glove. What can you say about the defense he does over there at first?
Well, Gold Glover, and it's just one of those things. Is like this National League has some really good first baseman, defensive first baseman, Joey Votto and Goldschmidt, to say a couple other ones. But it's just something that I took pride of it. I was lucky enough to win 1 Gold Glove. It was just something instilled in me in college. You know, there's days that you're not going to be so good at the plate, but there's days that when you're on the field that you can win a ball game with your glove. And it's something that stuck with me, and I see it in Freddie. I see it in Goldie. I see it in Votto. It's just, you know, that's a complete player. And to when you walk away from this game, when somebody says that you're a complete player, it means a lot.
Well, we know how good you were over at first base. How much you enjoy series like this when you get to see Eric Hosmer and Freddie Freeman go? Such a great matchup there at first base.
Monty, let's go. It's yeah, I mean that's what baseball is about. It's like, I mean, right now it's in transition. There's this new generation coming in, and it's just like, I mean, if they can watch Eric and Freddie go at it every day in and day out, baseball is in such a great spot right now. It's just, I mean, two superstars that you can watch and watch Gold Glove defense and just fantastic hitting all the way around. So I'm lucky enough to watch Haas every day. You guys are lucky enough to watch Freddie every day. So we're both doing pretty good. Yeah,
quite a treat. We look forward to that matchup tonight. Mark, thank you so much for your time. We have first pitch between the Braves and the Padres. Game 3 coming up with Chip and Joe next. Enjoy the game.
Your local Ford dealer, and the Georgia Lottery.
Steamy night in Atlanta as the Braves try to nail down a victory in Game 3 of the series. Tough night last night for the Atlanta Relief Corps, allowing 7 runs to the Padres, and Freddie Galvis had a career-high night with 5 hits, a homer, drove in 4. As the Braves and Padres have split the first 2 games of this very important 4-game series. Fortunately, fellas, for the Braves, no blood lost in the Eastern Division race. The Nationals lost, the Phillies lost, so the Braves start action tonight. Still a game and a half up in the Eastern Division race with that 40-29 record. But we've said it a lot. It's not who you play, but when you play them. And right now, the San Diego Padres are playing their best baseball of the year. Sean Newcomb will have to be atop his game to beat them here at home tonight.
Yeah, they've won 12 out of 17 games. So who better to have out there, as we said in our opening comments, than Sean Newcomb after a loss. He's 5-0 this year when that happens. He's also 4-0 on 5 days rest. He's had 7 starts of that type. 4-0 with a 1.91 ERA. That's what he's coming into the game with tonight, this afternoon. And he's also never lost to the Padres. In 2 starts, he's actually never given up a run to the Padres. 12 innings, 9 hits, no runs, 4 walks, 12 strikeouts, including a great outing against them. 6 innings of shutout ball on the 5th of June. His 4 keys to pitching success today. Number 1, be that stopper. Get the Braves back in the win column. And first inning walks. Sean has walked 35 guys in 74 innings this year, but 11 of those walks have come in the first inning. So right at a third of his walks come early. Hopefully today he can avoid that.
And he will hope to avoid that against a hot-hitting San Diego lineup that features Jose Perella leading off the starting 9 for Andy Green. Eric Hosmer bats second on their Toyota lineup. Hunter Renfroe moves to the 3rd spot. Christian Villanueva, the cleanup man, with 15 home runs, 11 of them against left-handed pitching. So we'll keep an eye on that. Franmil Reyes, Freddie Galvis, Nomar Go, A.J. Ellis, Jordan Lyles, the former Astro, will pitch and hit 9th. It is hot. It is steamy. There is a thunderstorm warning for Cobb County. It's supposed to last until about 5:45 Eastern time as we get set for first pitch. Few puffy clouds overhead, bright blue skies. But I would imagine, guys, that the ball will travel again today, as we've had the 2 hottest days of the summer, back-to-back days here against the Padres. Doug Eddings has the plate. Perella digs in, as you see the rest of the umpiring crew here in Atlanta for Game 3. And Newcomb's first is cut on, fouled back, a strike.
When I talked to some of the players a couple of days ago about this 5-10 start, and they immediately said shadows. They were hoping for clouds so that there wouldn't be shadows. But as long as the shadows are in play, they said don't look for a lot of offense the first 5 or 6 innings. We'll see.
Hard breeze blowing from left to right as Newcomb lets her rip and missed outside for an even count.
Yeah, I was talking to Chuck Hernandez a little bit, and he was telling me, he was trying to tell Sean, listen, especially if there's shadows, go after them. Don't waste pitches. It's tough to see.
And not just for the hitters, as Joe discussed the last time we had an early start here, but for the man calling balls and strikes too.
Right.
Yeah, but Doug Eddings always likes a nice big zone.
Well,
So just go along with him.
I'll remind everyone of one of the Braves players said it was actually dangerous because it couldn't see.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Perella, who snapped a 293 at-bat homerless streak with a first inning blast last night. The 2-2 pitch and out of play. So former Brave Malik Smith is now on the clock. He has the longest homerless streak.
Malik's ain't gone deep this year.
320 at bats, according to the
Have to give him a call.
Launch angle, right?
I guess it's not, his launch angle's not been good.
There you go. Pitch is hammered foul. Perella putting up a fight. He's had a good series, 3 for 8, and he scored 3 runs.
It's good to see Acuna running the bases today.
He was going through a full-blown workout before the ball game today. Put through his paces.
Yeah, you know you're important to a team when you're going through a running workout and you got 8 people out there watching you.
And Kelsey will have a full update on Acuna's day a little bit later on tonight, as Newcomb's going to need at least 8 pitches to retire the Padres leadoff man. And for the moment, now no shadows. The 2-2 pitch is lined toward left. Charlie on the run, won't get there, and he has to pick that up with a bare hand. Perella on his way to second, and he'll slide in with a double. So game 3 starts the way game 2 started.
It took a little longer for Perella, but like Jankowski last night, San Diego gets a double from the first hitter of the game.
That was a tremendous at bat. And goes down and gets that one and hits it hard. Charlie was able to cut it off, but you can see really had his weight back on his heels, couldn't get anything on that throw.
And that was a good pitch by Sean as far as the changeup, just missed location. It came in over the plate and he was able to get enough wood on it.
Eric Hosmer hitting second, which is where he batted last night. He had an infield hit and scored a run in the 5-run seventh. Where Hosmer really made a difference was defensively. He gunned down a Freddie Freeman at the plate, and Dansby Swanson, running on contact, was thrown out between third and home as well in what was a very frustrating Atlanta third inning. So the 1-0 pitch for Hosmer, and lifted out of play for an even count.
Well, Joe, I thought the play he made on Freddie last night was one of the better defensive plays I've seen this year. I honestly thought when he got it, first base is your play.
Yeah,
because it was a hard throw. He was on the ground.
Yeah, and I always compliment Freddie because he's got one of the best arms on the team. Hosmer showed you a good arm too.
Oh, yeah.
It may not be as good as Renfro's, but it was a good throw.
1 ball, 1 strike. And taken outside, ball 2.
I enjoyed listening to the interview Kelsey did with Mark McGwire talking about Hosmer and Freddie and the other first baseman in the National League too, but talking about how tough it is to get Freddie out, but paid good attention to their defense too.
Sean's about to make his 12th pitch, looking for his first out. And that'll help a check swing.
Nothing better than a well-placed fastball. That was a beaut.
You know, I know Big Mac, old Mark McGwire's the bench coach, but you got to imagine there's quite a few hitters that probably go ask him some advice, I would hope. I know I would.
Yeah.
The 2-2 pitch. Hosmer grounds it to the left side. That'll get the runner to third. A productive out, 1 away. So Hunter Renfroe becomes the key man of the inning. He'll bat with a runner at third and 1 out. Renfroe last night had his second multi-hit game on the road. He had just 3 hits on the road trip before singling in the 7th and again in the 9th inning. And a heartbreaking 7th inning single came with 2 strikes. The Braves were a strike away from getting out of that inning with a 1-run lead. And Newcomb misses outside as the Shadows up here again. Ball 1. Right down the middle, and he took it for an even count.
The longer the ball travels in the shadow, the more difficult it is to see for the hitter. Got a good fastball. Good start. See if he can leave that runner at third.
One reason why the Padres are playing so well, winning 12 of 17 games, are spots like this. Like the Braves early in the year, they get a runner in scoring position, they bring him home. And they've done that especially with 2 outs, which is such a big play.
Which has been unusual for them because they're such a high strikeout team.
They hit .293 with runners in scoring position and 2 out. That's the best average in baseball. Renfroe's ahead in the count with 1 out, and Perella at third after a leadoff double. And that is taken downstairs. Another first inning walk.
Well, they get a ground ball here, turn a double play, make it a 19 pitch inning, and all's forgiven.
Right.
And this is a perfect guy because Villanueva's been nursing that ankle that he hurt. We saw him last night a couple times when he ground out. He just kind of jogged down there.
Boy, very slow down the line.
But as I mentioned, in this lineup, he is the highest average hitter against left-handed pitching on the Padres team. 11 of his 15 homers have come against lefties, but he was late there. A swinging strike one. First and third for the Padres.
Got that one by him. Didn't pick up that 94 right away.
No, and this is where you want him to take advantage. It's 0-2. Shadows. As a hitter, you're kind of in a little bit of a panic mode here. Don't give him anything in the zone.
The 0-2 pitch. Struck him out on 3. 62 strikeouts for Villanueva, and 2 are on, 2 are out, and Franmil Reyes is the hitter.
And 75 strikeouts for Sean Newcomb in this, his 75th inning pitched.
See, he went with the high fastball right there, and he had no chance to catch up with that.
Reyes played a role in the Padres win. He had a pinch hit single, one of 14 San Diego hits. That was his first career pinch hit in the major leagues. He too not one to take a walk. 32 strikeouts, 4 bases on balls for Reyes, who's hit 6 homers but has but 8 RBIs.
Yeah, I know, but his home runs almost count for 2.
That one he hit against us back in San Diego should have.
I'm not sure, but what he didn't hit it out of the ballpark.
Where would that have hit, guys, on the Delta scoreboard and left? I mean, would it hit it? Would it have hit his name up there? Would it have been that high?
No, he would have. He was. That would have been more at the Home Depot clubhouse, the one he hit.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. He'd have gave someone a souvenir up there.
1-1 pitch. Right there, a strike.
You know, Joe, the one thing that's so good for us, you look at Sean and Fulte, the one thing they still can struggle with is control. So they get some walks and they'll get runners on, but they have such good stuff that they're able to strike guys out and limit and keep them keep them from crossing home.
Great equalizer.
Runner at first goes, a swing and a miss, and that's the inning. Newcomb strikes out 2, but needs 25 pitches to get through the opening inning. No score. Score. Here come the Braves under skipper Brian Snitker. Atlanta with 40 wins on the year. Top 3: Obi, Swanson, Freeman on the Toyota starting lineup card. Markakis, Flowers, Culberson, Ender, Camargo, Sean Newcomb, and it's Jordan Lyles pitching for the Padres, fellas, a man the Braves saw out on the West Coast.
He has been a starter. He's been a reliever. His games as a reliever, 3.66 ERA, 5.40 as a starter in 7 games. Throws hard, has a curveball at change, but he relies on that sinker a lot. Lately, it's been not so good. His last 2 games, 22 hits in 10 innings and 12 runs.
Yeah, so the sinker's been a stinker for him.
Yeah, boy.
This is a matchup I was kind of excited to see because Newcomb had done so well out there. Now the Padres hitters got to make adjustments, and we hit Lyles well. It's time for see what kind of adjustments he makes on our hitters. Because as a hitter, you kind of say, hey, I'm taking the same game plan when you have success off the guy and you make him change.
Well, the greatest advantage he has today, shadow.
And as we saw last night and continue to say about this Padres team, an early run would be really big because, frankly, you don't want to be in that Padre bullpen down a run or 2 in the 7th inning, as well as they've pitched. 2-2. And that's popped into shallow center. Galvis drifts out and has it for the first out. So 1 away. Ozzie 1 for 9 in the series. That brings up Dansby Swanson, who's 1 for 8 so far. Right now, the Braves 1 and 2 hitters, whoever they might be, are in kind of an extended cold stretch. Ozzie's hitting 179 in his last 23 games. Dansby's 3 for his last 16 and batting .231, hitting second.
I'll say this about Dansby, though. It was at least it's hard outs. He's made some.
I agree.
I'm not worried about him. You know, we talked, all 3 of us before the game today, just about the 1 and 2 hitters, and I said that's the big thing for us because right now we're lucky that Freddie and Nick are hitting so well. And God forbid one of them hits a little bit of a cold streak. We're really going to need to rely on those guys to get on.
Right. Well, the other thing I like about what Dansby's done is hit the ball to right field and hit it with authority to right center. That's such a good sign.
Fouled right off his foot.
What I would like to find out about Ozzie and this stretch he's in, how many fly ball outs versus ground ball outs, because he is popping up a ton.
I would say I'd bet the mortgage that more pop-ups than ground balls.
I think by a large margin, be my guess.
And the other part of it is for Ozzie. First the pitch, which is corked up the middle, and that's going to sneak through for a hit. Dansby with a big turnaround first. Ball dropped by Margot, but no further advance. There goes the no-hitter for Lyles after 2 hitters. Runner aboard in front of Freddie Freeman.
Pretty good slider. Got it off the end of the bat, but I love what Dansby did here. He knows he's got a chance for a base hit. He's running hard, but then he made a big turn. And when the outfielder's got to charge hard, and he was getting word from Perella to hurry up and get it in, there's a good chance he might overrun that ball, even if you don't think about going to second.
Yeah, what I love when someone gets on, now you leave a nice hole open for Freddie on the right side.
Who properly hits it a mile toward left. Look at that ball carried toward the wall and playable for Renfroe. Dansby around second, had to re-tag and is back to first as Freddie just missed hitting one into the San Diego pen.
If I remember last week, I think Freddie took Lyle's first pitch for a homer, didn't he?
I think so.
Almost did it again.
But the park big enough to hold that drive, and 2 men are out for Nick Markakis.
Double. It was a double, Jeff.
Was it a double?
Uh-huh. He and Ozzie both had doubles in
He
the
ended up
first
going
inning.
deep that game, though, right?
He did. Next at bat.
Nick tied for 3rd in the league in hitting and takes up and away, ball 1.
I think the thing with Ozzie that I think we can all agree a little bit, and even Sites and just everybody in baseball, is what kind of hitter is Ozzie going to be? Because I didn't have him doing all this power yet. He's leading baseball in extra base hits.
Right.
So in a way, it's kind of like I can understand there's some fly balls, but at the same time, you want to say, is he a guy that can hit 300?
I think he can. I mean, does he have to sacrifice a lot for that? I don't think so.
problem, it seems, too, guys. He's been behind in the count almost every at bat, and as a consequence has only walked 3 times his last 57 times to the plate, which, again, if you're talking about Ozzie being an unconventional leadoff hitter, that's very unconventional, not taking a walk or 2. And he popped out to start the game. Dansby singled. Freeman hit one to the warning track in left, and now Markakis in the driver's seat, ball 2. And now 3-0 as Ellis smothers that at the plate. Nice to see the Braves score the first run here. The Braves have scored 42 times in the opening inning this year. But it's been a while since they've scored a first inning run. In fact, you have to go back to San Diego, June 6th. Right there, a strike. In fact, the Braves scored first inning runs in back-to-back games against the Padres. But those are the only 2 first inning runs they have since the 16th of May. 3-1 the count. Dansby a good lead, not going, and the pitch fly towards center. Margot to his left in the bright sunshine will make the play. Atlanta gets their first hit, but no score after 1.
Into the second inning, and you heard Chip, Joe, and Jeff talking about Ronald Acuna Jr. So yesterday he did run the bases for the first time. That was one of the last big tests they wanted him to take, and that continued today, but they took a more aggressive stance. So today out on the bases he was working on sliding, and he was working on jumping and landing on that knee that he hurt. He was counting around the bases fast. This guy has 1 speed, and it is all in. And great news came after he finished his drills for the day. He walked into the dugout, looked at Brian Snitker, and said, ready to go. So we'll see how quickly that rehab assignment comes, guys.
Yeah, I'll bet he's itching to go, Kelsey. We were told at the time of his injury that was going to be a 4 to 6 week time frame for his recovery. Tomorrow will be 3 weeks to the day since he hurt himself in Boston, as Freddie Galvis flies out to center, and his bid for a second perfect game at the plate is by the boards on the first pitch from Newcomb, who could use a few easy outs.
Yeah, you get 5 hits one day, doesn't mean you're going to get 5 the next day, does it, Freddie?
I'll tell you what's nice about that is after you throw 25 pitches in the first inning, to get a first pitch out like that, that's huge.
And Manuel Margot is the hitter. So yeah, Kelsey's right. We'll see how Acuna fares recovering from his workout today, and then we'll see how much further along he is. Almost certainly he's going to need a rehab game or 2 to get back into baseball game playing shape.
He appeared to have a, I don't want to call it a brace, but like a sleeve on his knee too.
That's hit toward right. 2 outs on 3 pitches. Margot is the second, and A.J. Ellis is coming up.
And I think that's to be expected. You know, just a little extra protection for him, a little extra support.
So good news on one injury front for Atlanta, that Acuna is beginning baseball activities and making his way back. But finally, guys, some clarity on Mike Fultonevich announced before first pitch today.
Yeah, he'll go to the DL, backdated to the day after he pitched, which was June 3rd. He pitched on June 12th, so 10 days from the 13th would make him eligible to pitch when we come home and play Baltimore. And Julio Teheran activated from the DL and will pitch tomorrow.
And a base hit by A.J. Ellis as the Padres continue to get to work aggressively and early in the count, something we saw last night.
Ellis keeps hitting like this, he might end up playing another couple years.
No kidding. He's hitting 324 coming in.
Wasn't a bad pitch. I mean, he jammed him. You can tell it was just kind of squeaked through. You know, with Fulte, I don't mind it. That's why I said what's great about the 10-day DL. You know, you let him miss one start, rest that tries. I mean, you want the guy for the next 3.5 months. What's one start? Especially, like I said, when we have the depth we do now.
Yeah.
I'd say last year, because then you start thinking, well, who in the world are we going to pitch?
Yeah, they were calling you.
Yeah, well, I don't know, not that far.
A strike to
Well, I'm a
Lyles.
one-inning guy.
Yeah, one inning you were really good.
I was.
It's recovery time that was problematic, I think, for your pitching career. And that one's up the middle. And Dansby's got it. Look at the tricky spin on that ball. Off the bat of the pitcher, Jordan Lyles. So a 8-pitch hitting for Newcomb. Nothing doing for San Diego. Tyler Flowers leads off a scoreless second. It's a somber this date in baseball history. It's hard to believe that 4 years ago today we lost Mr. Padre, Tony Gwynn, after a lengthy battle with salivary gland cancer. Tony Gwynn, 8 batting titles, a .338 batting average, 3,141 hits. Just a wonderful human being and a man that every time we see the Padres, I think we all say, fellas, we miss terribly, and I can only imagine what their fans feel on a day like today.
Yeah, I don't understand. I can't fathom how sad a day it is in San Diego. He was so popular with not just his city, but cities there where he played, no matter who they were playing. He was such a great player and one of the best hitters that ever lived.
And I think Joe said it best. You go, I just remember when he'd come into Atlanta, you just want to see him hit because of how good he was and what he brought to the table. And you never heard anybody say a bad word about him.
Never. Never.
But what a wonderful legacy in San Diego for the entire Gwynn family. Tony was also a broadcaster for many years with the Padres. I got to work with him on TBS. And his son, Tony Gwynn Jr., is in his 2nd season as a Padres analyst on their broadcast team.
And I got a chance to play with him in the Arizona Fall League, and then just got to know him. And what a great guy. We talked to him a little bit today earlier, and said it's always a tough day, but
sure.
It's like, where else would my dad want me other than at the ballpark?
Right.
The thing I remember about Tony Gwynn had nothing to do with what he did between the white lines. As Tyler Flowers digs in, was there a more unmistakable laugh than that of Tony Gwynn? That infectious, I mean, deep from within the soul, nose to toes giggle when something struck him as funny, and how many smiles he brought to so many people.
Always in a good mood. Even when he went 1 for 3.
Which wasn't often, was it?
That was a bad day.
Yeah, right. There was a crazy number, and I forgot to look it up today, but there was some crazy number about what Tony Gwynn hit against the big three for the Braves.
That was,
as this one's hit toward left, and Hunter Renfroe, he's got it.
that was always a point of contention between the three of them, and who had the best numbers against him.
Who owned him when Gwynn only hit 340 or something?
I remember
right.
there was a saying. I can't remember. I know Greg Maddux, if I remember right, said something about Tony Gwynn. And of course, it wasn't nice.
No.
Not from a personal standpoint, but said something as, I could care less if I ever face this guy again, because he'd hit it anywhere. And he did it year after year.
And whenever you played the Padres, and Joe, you knew this better than Jeff or I did because of all your years watching Tony play against Atlanta. Whenever you played the Padres, no matter the lead, you knew if the game got close, somehow the baseball gods were going to make Tony Gwynn come up in the 9th inning in a run-scoring situation where you had to get him out to win the game.
And rarely did you ever get him out. He put together seasons like you read about with some of the old greats relative to strikeouts, you know, where he didn't strike out hardly at all.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what his philosophy is on launch angle. And
well, here's the number for you. You
what
ready?
do you think that was, Joe?
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn had 9,288 big league at bats. As I said, 3,141 hits as Charlie rolls one toward Villanueva, and it is a knock. An infield hit for Charlie Culberson. Tony Gwynn, in those 2,440 games and 9,288 at bats, struck out 434 times.
What was the most he struck out in any one season?
I don't have that in the book.
Okay.
I don't think he ever struck out 100 times, though.
No, gosh, no.
Obviously, with that few in his career.
And that's the thing. You know, you hear people talk about, oh, well, guys that did that, that was in the 60s. They weren't facing. It's not like Tony Gwynn played
Right.
30, 40 years ago. He was playing.
He was playing in the age of specialization where he was facing a lot of good
That's my point.
guys
Absolutely.
out of the bullpen. I forget the hitter I was looking at the other day, but some guy hit more home runs than he had strikeouts one year, and he had like 30 homers.
So he was at his best against the best, certainly against Atlanta's trio of Hall of Fame starters. You know what Tony Gwynn batted in his 2 World Series appearances? 371 against the Tigers in '84. Remember how great the Tigers were that year. And then the 1998 Yankees, who I think won 114 games. So
what was his last year?
His last year, 2001. All 20 years in the big leagues with the Padres. 8 batting titles, 16-time All-Star. The 8 batting titles tied him with Honus Wagner for the most in the National League's history.
All right, I've got the numbers.
Ground ball hit towards second off the bat of Ender. Second for 1. Galvis' throw to first, not in time. Ender legs out. That ground ball, and the force play at second is the second out of the inning.
Of the 3, the big 3, who held him to the lowest batting average?
Well, I'm going to say, since it's lefty on lefty, Glav.
That's what I would have said.
That's a good call. You're both right.
But I would bet it's still pretty good.
It is good. The highest was off John Smoltz. He had 462.
How many at bats?
Off John Smoltz with 1 strikeout.
Oh, really? How many at bats?
I don't have that.
Oh,
well, I could have told you that, because let's be honest, Smoltz probably thought, I'm just going to blow it right by him.
65 at bats.
Wow.
462 off 65
1 strikeout
at bats.
and 65 at bats.
1 K.
What was Doggy against
Now, hang
him?
on a second. I ain't done.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to Maddox. He had 429 off Maddox. He walked 10 times off Greg Maddox, who never walked anybody.
Right.
Never struck out against Greg Maddox.
Really? Unbelievable.
91 at bats against Greg. Okay. So Glavine is like a 4-star guy here.
What's Glass?
He held him to a 312 average, 2 homers, walked him 5 times. Glav struck him out twice.
Wow. He owned him.
Yeah.
And Gretchen tells us he faced Maddox and Glavine head to head more than any other pitcher in his major league career and put up those numbers.
Well, those are 3 guys in the Hall of Fame, and add up all the at bats he had against those 3 Hall of Famers, and he had 3 strikeouts.
How many total at bats for the 3 of them?
I have to get Glavs.
Forget the other. The fact to me is you faced Greg Maddox 65 times in his prime and you strike out 1 time.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And he just rocks Smoltz. Let's send Smoltz a text.
Oh, he knows.
249 total at bats.
So out of 249 at bats, 3 strikeouts against 3 Hall of Fame pitchers. Good or bad? As a friend of ours used to ask.
Yeah.
Oh, so no, he faced Maddox 91 times?
Yes.
And he never struck out against Maddox?
Never.
Nope. So you'll forgive us on this sad day where we remember the passing of Tony Gwynn, that we also celebrate a wonderful life and an incredible baseball career. And we extend our sympathies to his family and the entire Padres family too on this anniversary, as that tie to Camargo. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
But Maddox would rather cut off his pinky finger than walk anyone, and he walked him 10 times.
10 times.
If I were a betting man, I'd say that's probably the most guys he ever walked.
Probably. Good jump by Ender.
Yeah, I'll have to find it somewhere there. I know there was a quote that Maddox said one time about Tony Gwynn.
You can understand why now.
Yeah, absolutely.
462 off Smoltz. 1K.
Great work by our stat man upstairs, Chan Hartzog, to help us find those raw numbers. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Broken bat. Lyles caught that between his legs. How about that play?
He was defending against the bat barrel and then got the ball too.
No score. We head to inning number 3. No, but it's great to welcome back a former Brave. Mudgrant. Mark
Jim?
Grant, good to see you, kid.
Joe,
Welcome, pal.
two of my favorites here at Atlanta. You're very lucky to have these clowns doing
Thanks.
the games for
Thanks.
you.
Checks in the mail. Welcome back, first of all.
It's good to be back. It's really good to be back. My heart kind of warms a little bit more when I come back to the great state of Georgia and the state capital of Atlanta.
Yes.
And it's great. Great memories.
Not Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, but what do you think of this joint?
Well, I miss Turner Field big time. Food room was awesome, and the ice cream machine was out of this world.
We miss it too.
Crushed that thing about 5 times during a game.
We miss it too, buddy, as Jose Perella leads off. Let me ask you this as we see Ozzie Albies take care of the Padres second baseman. In Atlanta, there have been so many comparisons made with this 2018 team to the 1991 Braves.
Yes.
Tell us what that 91 team was about from your perspective as a player on it, and what made that group so special.
I have it etched in my brain. I remember sitting in West Palm Beach in the clubhouse at the ballpark, and John Schuerholz came in. I remember he had an Atlanta Braves jacket on. He had his World Series ring on from the Kansas City Royals. First words out of his mouth: "Gentlemen, we're going to win this year." In 1991.
Really?
We had Terry Pendleton come over. We had Sid Bream. Later on, I think it was Otis Nixon. The core was there. They took their lumps for many, many years. And from that point on, won a lot of ball games, had a lot of fun, confidence. The one thing that sticks out to me is the confidence. There were so many guys on that team. And Joe, you know this as well as you, Chip. It was a case of where even if they failed or didn't come through big time, that's a fluke. I'll get them next time. Or the next guy's going to pick me up.
Shift takes care of Hosmer. Quickly, 2 outs.
Well, and you've only seen this team 5 games,
Right.
but are your impressions kind of similar with the mix of young and veteran players that might have something going?
Yes, and it all starts with Freddie Freeman. He's got my vote for MVP right now. When you look up the middle, strong up the middle, Inciarte, the Gold Glover's got serious speed. Swanson, of course. Albies, I mean, how can you not like that kid? And you know what? It all boils down to pitching, right?
Yes.
I mean, offense is great, but pitching and defense, they catch the ball. I love the excitement. I love Brian Snitker too and what he does. And
Sure.
I think when you have these players like the Braves do, and let's face it, Brian Snitker, being an all-time Brave guy, right? He deserved the chance.
Yeah, 40 years in the organization.
Could not really 40 years.
Yeah.
Wow, I was 15 when he joined the Braves.
Right?
When I was in high school, and he's from Illinois. That's another reason why I love him.
That's it. 1 ball, 1 strike for Renfroe, who lifts one toward Nick Markakis in right after a long first inning. Newcomb's getting outs early in the count.
I'm going to go get an ice cream.
Yeah, come back because
No,
we want to hear about the Padres when
Okay.
the Braves hit. Still scoreless here in Game 3. Braves, we searched our archives, and this was the only video we could find of Mark Grant pitching in a Braves game.
What, throwing a wild pitch?
Yeah.
That's a shocker.
Look at this. 1 run scores. Look at this.
Patch the Come on, bring it. Get it to me. That's an earned run.
You're sporting a nice mullet there, too.
I was going to say, that was 100 pounds ago, and that was a full head of hair ago.
Oh, Sean Newcomb the hitter. That takes a strike. All right, tell me about your Padres team.
Well,
rebuilding year again?
On the upswing.
Yeah.
I have bought into what General Manager A.J. Preller has done. You know what? I'm a big believer stocking the minor leagues like the Padres are doing. And once again, prospects are just that. They are prospects. How many of those are going to hit the target once they get to the big league level remains to be seen. But when you have an abundance of players like that, they're just stockpiled. They've got some really serious young players. And we've got some young players up here, too, that are learning at the big league level. I mean, let's face it, 34 and 38. A lot of people weren't speculating the Padres to be, at this point in the season, having the year. And with the uncertainty of the NL West, you never know what's going to happen. Our bullpen is nails. I mean, our bullpen is unbelievable.
Yeah. That's what we talked about last night. I guess in a way it's kind of hard to figure out really where you are. You've only played the Diamondbacks 3 times. You have 16 games left with them, but you're only 6.5 games out. So here we are, a month away or 6 weeks away from the deadline. Are the Padres going to be sellers? Are they going to be buyers?
Can't answer that, but I know that A.J. Preller is one thing. Like any general manager, they're going to try to make the team better. If they can, they will. I don't know if they're going to give up the farm for some type of player/pitcher to do that. That remains to be seen. But you guys know as well as anybody, you know, the starting pitching for any successful ball club, you look at the end of the year, it's their pitching and defense.
And you guys, with what you have in your bullpen, if you turn into sellers, you're going to have a lot of people knocking on your door.
Joe, the phone has got to be ringing for Craig Stammen, Brad Hand, Kirby Yates,
Castillo.
How about that kid?
He's a monster.
Good. He's unbelievable. Major League debut against the Reds. He struck out Joey Votto, Suarez, Adam Duvall. Uno, dos, adios. All swinging. It was great.
1-2 pitch for Ozzie Albies, who pulls one slowly to the right side. Right at the bag is Hosmer. Easy play. And quickly there are 2 out.
You know what's fun about this is that we've known Mark for a long time. And Jeff went over there and he was going over, as he said, to go say hello to Dan Orsillo.
Yeah,
whose
hey,
name
Atlanta.
is Don.
See the guy on the right?
Yeah.
If you ever come across him, say, hey, Dan.
Yeah.
How you doing? Good to see you, Dan.
Now, little known fact about Mark Grant. He is a master of impersonations. I don't know if
I don't know about the master.
Hey, if you've seen Caddyshack.
So you should grin.
Judge Eli, who smiles? Give it to us.
When your ship comes in and you've got the stock market beat, but a man worthwhile is a man who can smile when his shorts are too tight in the seat. Okay, Pookie.
Spalding, get your foot off the boat.
I'll give you asthma.
Yeah.
It's obvious you don't have any fun doing this job.
You know, you have to. You have to. I mean, nothing was more important to me when I was on the mound, wanting to get outs and do well for your team. And I always believed in working hard, playing hard, but also when it's coming to fun, have fun hard too, you know?
I was going to bring that up, that you guys in '91 with your rally caps and everything that you had.
Well, it's not like I started that. That's been around forever, but that became a craze.
That became a craze. You and Avery, I can picture you guys on the dugout railing. You guys had a good time.
We did. We were cheerleaders. In fact, Tommy Glavine always makes fun of me on our championship ring that year. There we are right there. That's World Series in the Metrodome. Tommy said, you know where they put our number? He said they should add pom-poms on your ring.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
But the day I got traded in 1991, I was in Pittsburgh, came to Atlanta, got in the game that night. The first 2 guys that came up to me and extended their hand, one was Peter Smith, who I absolutely adore. I love Pete, and Tommy. And after that game, I got in relief. Nuxie was our bullpen coach. They said, let's go, get dressed, we're going to go out. And it was me, Petey, and Tommy. And we went out in Buckhead somewhere. Woohoo! And
welcome to Atlanta.
Yeah, and they welcomed me to the team, and it just felt like, you know, there was something when I walked in that clubhouse. I saw my Braves uniform with Grant, and then there's Bobby Cox, Leo Mazzoni, This was 1990, right? And then then of course 91. So hey, great memories here, and meeting you two. This is what baseball is all about, you know.
3-2 pitch for Dansby, who cracks one to third. Villanueva, gorgeous play, and a perfect throw to retire the side. Mud, it's so great to see you. You're always family here in Atlanta. Welcome back.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck to our Padres.
Thank you, Atlanta. You got a good ball club.
Even at 2 apiece. Jeff Rancour's made his way back from San Diego. Nice job. How did you and Dan get along?
I meant Don, but I'll tell you what. Me and Don had unbelievable chemistry.
I'll bet
it
you
was
did.
so good.
Did you ever see the movie Caddyshack?
Oh yes, I did.
Okay, well just whatever you got, you can bring it.
Oh, I'm guessing Mud was doing that. I honestly, what I did the whole inning of it was just rip him.
Did you?
Yep.
What'd you rip him over?
Well, he's looking for a job.
Well,
I said, listen, if you
he's
want
in the right business, isn't he, Joe?
if you want to pay me to come live in San Diego, I guess I can do it.
Christian Villanueva just made a nice play at third base to retire Swanson. He leads off.
I think the best part of the whole thing was they welcomed me. We talked about my time in San Diego, and they brought my stats up, and it was 2 for 24. And I'm like, why in the hell are we looking at these?
1-1 pitch. Well, don't feel bad. We showed the only highlight we could find of Mark Grant, and it was a run-scoring wild pitch. So it could have been worse.
Hey, there you go. And then they showed my career at the bottom. So I was like, let's look at that.
Popped up out of play by Villanueva, still 2-2. That's a real treat for everybody involved. Mark was as you know, really good guy, as are you, Jeff. And I think the fans in both markets like to hear those experiences from their former players. They don't get to see you too often.
You know what? That was fun. And
get it, Jeff.
Oh.
Just out of reach. 2-2.
Well, that's 2 in a week that have come back here.
It actually was great. I ended up talking to Don about, I forgot, him and Buck Martinez did the Tampa Bay Rays Rangers game in the ALDS when I was there in 2010. And so he thanked me for coming up to talk to him because he said I was the only one that came and talked to him in the locker room, and he felt awkward until I did.
Full count pitch for Newcomb. 46 so far in the game. And another pop-up back our way. This one well out of reach, however.
I think the cool thing, listen to Don, he kept talking about just our team, and he was like, you know, I've heard a lot about y'all. Obviously, we're on the West Coast. We don't get to watch too much or see, but he's like, you talk about it, just a team with a lot of energy. I thought it was cool to hear that, other people recognizing that, because I think it's been cool as the years gone on to see, you know, ESPN, all these other teams start to give the credit where it's due to us.
Yeah.
Because you don't just fall going 40-29. You know, you can get hot for 20 games, but not for 70.
Swing and a miss. Villanueva down on strikes for the second time, and Newcomb is set down 5 straight. And 1 away here in the top of the 4th inning.
Second time he's gotten Villanueva with a fastball, too.
Me and Don were saying if the innings go that fast, we might as well stay there and see what kind of luck we can get.
Well, I think it's safe to say with the Padres, the Braves might be a very good blueprint for them to follow. That's what Mark Grant was talking about. They're stockpiling their system.
Well, we were saying it's very similar to they're kind of building around their position players, and that's something that we have done, and I like it. I mean, obviously we've drafted pitching, developed pitching, but it's a lot, for me, it's a lot easier to go buy a pitcher and know what you're going to get.
I agree with that. They've already got some numbers on their bubblegum card, and you can know
well,
what
look
to
at the
plug
Cubs,
in.
how they built through with Chris Bryant, Javier Baez, those guys, and then they went and got Lester. They went and got, you know, Arrieta.
They traded for Hendricks. They traded for Arrieta.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And I told Don too, I said, I think one thing I love about San Diego is first baseman Eric Hosmer and shortstop Freddie Galvis, they have 2 winning players that play hard and know how. Guys are going to follow that. And I said, I think that's great that A.J. Preller, their GM, got a couple guys like that.
Taken low by Reyes. 3 balls and a strike from Sean Newcomb, who issued a first inning walk. No walk since. Heavy cloud cover over the ballpark. Still some bright blue skies overhead. No issue with the shadows for the hitters at the moment. But the lights have been on since the very first pitch and will continue to be on.
Yeah, there were some thunderstorm warnings for Cobb County right at the start of the game through 5:45. So we've passed that, but pretty dark out there
I was
behind the
wondering
park.
if they're creeping in now.
Yeah.
Newcomb ready. The full count pitch. Strike 3 inside corner. Wow, what action on that pitch. And Reyes didn't think so. Back-to-back strikeouts for Newcomb in the 4th.
Take that every day. Sean Newcomb.
Thank you, Doug Eddings.
Even as good as Tyler is at framing pitches, it's kind of hard to frame that one.
But he'll take it. Here's Galvis, who flied out to center in his first at bat. If you're listening in the background, you might be hearing a distinctive voice on the PA system here at SunTrust Park. Mark Owens has the public address announcing duties this afternoon. The Braves regular PA man Casey Motter is out with illness today. Casey, hope you're feeling better and can be back at work tomorrow. Nice play by Dansby. Another 3 up, 3 down frame for Sean Newcomb, who is set down 7 straight. Freddie Freeman leads off in a scoreless game next. Second time through the order now against Jordan Lyles. Freeman, Markakis, and Flowers get things started. Freddie flat out deep left on the first pitch he saw and offers at the first pitch here. This one, though, will reach the seats in foul ground. Strike one for the Braves first baseman.
It's getting so dark here. A run here would be mighty nice. Get one on the board going to the fifth.
Where the bottom part of the Padres order is coming up. And the reason for that is if you lead after 4.5 games in your home park and you get bad weather, it's an official game as the home team. The pitch is hit right into the shift, and Perella hardly had to move. And there's out number one.
All right, guys, I got the quote we were talking about earlier with Maddox.
Okay.
Sometimes hitters can pick up differences in spin. They can identify pitches if there are different releases, points, or shape. But if a pitcher can change speeds, every hitter is helpless, limited by human vision. Except for that blank Tony Gwynn. So it's only Mad Dog could do. There you go.
The ultimate compliment. Nick Markakis flied out his first time and takes low. Mark Grant was telling us that the longest hitless streak of Tony Gwynn's career, how's this for irony, 0 for 19. That's the longest stretch of at bats without a hit in Tony Gwynn's career. And of course he wore number 19.
I'll bet they were closing factories and all kinds of stuff in San Diego.
Yeah. 2-0 pitch from Lyles is well outside. 3-0.
Yeah, it couldn't have been Tony. He must have got some bad wood in that shipment.
Yeah. One last note on him. He was a heck of a college basketball player at San Diego State, point guard.
Didn't the Clippers draft him?
I think so.
The San Diego Clippers at the time. 3-1 pitch. Strike two, full count.
I always think it's cool too that he got to coach Steven Strasburg at San Diego State.
So Lyles back in the count after falling behind 3-0, and he came back to get Markakis, toughest guy in the league to strike out. But after a 3-0 count, he came back through 3 straight strikes, and quickly 2 are out in the inning.
That was a nice pitch there.
That was a nasty pitch. You know, Lyles had pitched pretty good up until we went in there. 2 weeks ago, or last week when we saw him.
He was a supplemental #1 pick by Houston back in 08.
Well, the thing about Lyles, well, you could say just about of any major league pitcher, he doesn't get a lot of run support. Padres had an amazing note. If he gets 2 or more runs of support, just 2 runs, Padres are 4-0 in the games he's pitched. He's 2-3 for the year. So like the Braves, not whom you play but when for Lyles. Perhaps not how you pitch but against whom.
There was about a 3 or 4 year period where Lyles and Astros picked a bunch of high school pitchers in the draft. Chuck Norris / Bud Norris.
Yeah. Who's now closing games for the St. Louis Cardinals.
And he's throwing unbelievable.
He's having a great year. The duel continues. 4 scoreless innings on a cloudy afternoon in Atlanta. and exclusively online. Vote for your favorite Braves for the National League All-Star squad. Go to Braves.com/vote and catch all the fun of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 17th live on Fox. 4 scoreless frames in the books in Atlanta. Bottom part of the order for the Padres in the 5th. Margot, Ellis, and Jordan Lyles coming up. Sean Newcomb threw 25 first-inning pitches. He's thrown 32 since. Margot flied out to right in the San Diego 2nd. Sean threw 8 pitches in that inning.
You know, I think he's followed what Jeff was talking about with Chuck Hernandez saying, hey, pound the zone today if we have the shadows, and he's doing it anyway, even though the clouds have taken the shadows away.
A little roller foul.
Well, I think sometimes it takes pitchers a while to trust their stuff, what they have, and I think if anything, hopefully Sean's learned this year, I can pound the zone because you know what, I got good stuff. Some guys can't pound the zone because they got a nitpick. He can come right after you.
He's got such a nice, slow, deliberate windup too. That fastball gets on you quickly.
You know what? Another thing I think he's handled so well over the last 3 years is, for the longest time, people want to talk, oh, the Simmons trade. We gave away him. We gave away him, and you never heard Sean come out and, you know, I'm going to do this, or you know, he handled it like a pro.
Yeah, I don't think that's in his nature. I think
he kept quiet and kept working.
Well, quiet's the operative word. I mean, Sean's a pro, nice kid, but not a self-promoter. Fly ball center. Ender will chase that one back and have plenty of room. There's the first out of the Padres' 5th. 8 up, 8 down for Sean Newcomb, who is, as Joe suggested on his Ford Keys, is acting like a stopper so far. He stopped the Padres from scoring any runs after having 1st and 3rd in the 1st inning. So here's Ellis. He has one of their 2 hits. Let's see how the Braves play him.
What's another great crowd, isn't it? It's like another full house.
Braves had a sellout last night. With what looks to be a sellout today, they will officially go over the 1 million mark in attendance.
And I'll tell you what, it means so much to players when you're out there and you can play in front of this energy every day. You know, Joe, it makes a difference.
Oh, no doubt.
I played first year I was in Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. I mean, we were awful playing in front of 10,000 a game. You almost wanted to go on the road.
I remember those days in Seattle and
the Kingdom.
What we referred to ourselves as we were the Seattle Moroners.
0-2 pitch. His bounce left side. Friendly hop for Camargo. He'll take care of the Padres catcher with no trouble. And 2 are quickly out.
There's an electricity in the stadium. There's an excitement in the stadium when there's people in the seats and they're loud.
Oh, it's nice, you know, after the game last night, and I think most of the boos were directed at the umpires and everything that happened, but it's nice to hear people mad. You want expectations.
Yeah, replay didn't cost the Braves the game last night, but replay was nobody's best friend in games 1 or 2 of this series, quite frankly.
I liked what Brian Snitker said after the game. He said it was inconsequential to the outcome of the game.
It just added to it.
It just did. The frustration of it.
And Lyle swings and misses. He won't even bother to run to first, as Newcomb has another very easy inning. He threw 12 pitches, got 3 more outs. Charlie Culberson leads off for Atlanta. Still no score. Eastern, as Thomas Mueller and defending champions Germany battled Chicharito and Mexico in group play. Then Brazil faces off with Switzerland at 1 Eastern. Catch all the action on FS1 or stream it all live on the Fox Sports app.
Keep your eye on Mexico. Pretty good.
I got Brazil, buddy.
Kind of like Iceland today when they tied Argentina.
Yeah, you know the story about the Iceland coach? None of their players on the World Cup team are professional. They're all amateurs. And the head coach of the Iceland World Cup team is a dentist in his real life. And he actually had to ask for permission to get off work to go coach their World Cup squad. How about that?
Wow. It's a little different than every other team, I think.
Yeah. I'd tell you the man's name, but I'd have no chance of pronouncing it correctly.
I bet it's got like 20 K's in it.
And some umlauts.
Oh, I'm perfect at pronunciations with that stuff.
That's right.
Is it Spanky Burger?
Charlie Culberson, the batter. 8 up, 8 down for Lyles, and a high towering fly ball to left. Go ball. Manfred back. Look at that ball carry. That ball is gone, and the Braves lead.
Well, Joe, if the rain comes, that's almost like a walk-off.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Third home run for Culberson, and the Braves strike first.
You know, what about moving him up to the 2-hole, 1-hole? Right now, I feel great. Every time he steps up to the plate, that something's going to happen.
Love his swing. It is short, compact.
Oh, the guy made a nice catch, too.
Now Ender drives one in the air. This one to straightaway center, and Margot's got it. And there's the first out. All right, so the Braves score first, and the way Newcomb's pitching, 1 run might feel like 5 today. At least you hope that's the case.
Don't have to worry about the rain for the moment.
A couple of the weather apps say we might get a shower here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. It doesn't appear like it would be a shower of any long duration. Camargo the batter, and fouls it away. It's 0-2. That might have gotten a piece of Doug Eddings behind the plate.
You know, another thing, Newcomb's done a great job. He threw 25 pitches in the first inning, and he's thrown 44 since in 4 innings. He's averaged 11 pitches an inning.
And again, I think some of that goes to their aggressiveness early in the count. That helps him, but they're not going to be aggressive unless he's throwing strikes.
No balls, 2 strikes. And Ellis smothered that.
He got nailed that time.
Phillies are winning today, 4-1 in Milwaukee. Pirates 6, Cincinnati 1. The Nationals are in Toronto. That's Scherzer and Estrada. So important for the Braves to win tonight, as Camargo, I beg your pardon, is down swinging, and now they're 2 out. Charlie Culberson's homer, the first run of the day. How apropos is this? Today's the home run challenge. Every homer today raises money for prostate cancer research. Since the 1st of June, $2 million has been raised in the challenge. You can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org. And here's Newcomb. He struck out in his lone appearance.
Toronto's leading the Nationals 2-0 in the top of the 8th.
Wow. That might be, if that holds, 2 straight losses for Scherzer.
Yeah.
1-1 pitch.
I don't know if you can say it's his fault when it's 2-0.
Well, if he was responsible, certainly.
But I will tell you this: if you've never faced or seen Marco Estrada before, he has got one of the best changeups in baseball. So he gets you out front and gets rolling with that thing. He can run it off
And throws it a lot. You know, it's
that's his pitch.
I know. I saw him pitch in the postseason against Texas a couple of years ago, and really effective.
Yeah, the hitters say Marco slow-mo, and that's what's so effective. for Mr. Estrada.
Let's go to break.
That one's done.
Charlie Culberson.
Take a break, Chip.
It's a home run. It's 1-0 after 5.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
You haven't done it yet?
Charlie Culberson with a home run for Atlanta sends our game to the top of the 6th inning. That's part of the big story for the Braves today. The other part, Sean Newcomb is retired 10 straight, something we've seen a lot on our SunTrust confidence play from the Braves starters.
Yeah, since May 30th, they've been outstanding. A sub-1 walks or hits to innings pitched. That is excellent.
Top of the order for the Padres, Perella. And the most impressive at bat for San Diego's hitters. He worked an 8-pitch first inning sequence against Newcomb and then doubled, but was left stranded at third when Villanueva and Reyes struck out to end that opening inning. Maybe Mr. Newcomb's developing a reputation, fellas. The old, if you don't get him in the first, you might have trouble getting him at all. He threw 25 pitches in that opening frame, up to 71 in total now through 5 innings. But he's misfired badly with 3 straight to start the 6th inning. 3 balls, no strikes.
Well, he's a big horse. He's a big, strong guy. 6'5", 255 out of Brockton, Mass.
I've never asked Sean, but you wonder if he was a big Tom Glavine fan when he was young. Lefty out of Massachusetts.
You'd think so.
3-1 pitch. He has used that high fastball to good effect today. Now he's back in the count, 3-2.
He's really put that fastball up at a perfect place, just high enough where they can't get it and do anything with it.
That's right, Tyler. Go to it again.
Ground ball right to Ozzie. He's got it. And a nice comeback for Newcomb from a 3-0 count. 11 up and 11 down.
That just goes to show you, Joe, how good his fastball is. You see right here, he was trying to go in, and he threw that pitch on the outer part of the plate, but still 93-94 with some run, and that's what a good fastball does.
Yeah, and Perella, way he pulled the ball his first time up, you know, he was thinking, looking for the fastball, especially 3-2.
Here's Hosmer, 2 ground outs to the shortstop.
He doesn't get cheated either.
Hosmer 10 hits on this extended Padres road trip, which wraps up here tomorrow afternoon. They head home for a 2-game interleague series with Oakland. The Braves will be off before heading to Toronto for a pair of games. Then Atlanta comes home again for 6 games with Baltimore and Cincinnati. And the pitch is cut on a miss by Hosmer. Fooled him badly.
That was nice.
Yeah, I think he was trying to bum rush a heater right there.
He was out on his front foot.
You can see that front side fly open.
The 1-2 pitch.
Oh, it was a good pitch. It's just that everything was set up away, and
yeah, if he would have set up there, I think it's strike 3.
Yeah, Eddings was set up away also with Tyler.
Swing and a miss. Hosmer didn't get it. And the wind has begun to shift. You might recall earlier in the game it was really blowing from left to right toward the chop house. As we look at the flags in right center now, they're blowing right to left, if not slightly in, and with that a little light rain has begun to fall, and many of the fans are beginning to move under the cantilevered stands here at SunTrust.
That was an excellent hook.
Here's Renfroe, 2 outs, base is empty. He's walked and flied out. Strike 1.
I'll tell you, it's so hot here. If I was some of these fans, I'd just want to sit here and let the rain fall on me.
Take my cap off and get a little shower.
I mean, I could understand if you had hair like Chip. You don't want to get it messed up.
You know, it's a good point. But it's like a gutter system. It just all runs off the side.
Yeah, Mel Kiper Jr. and I have a seminar on that in the offseason. A little pop right side. Long run. Freddie still going, and he almost got there. Look how far Freddie Freeman arranged to try to catch that pop up. That is MVP effort for the Braves first baseman.
He should have just turned to Nick and said, here, you go to first.
Yeah,
I'll stay
we'll
out
switch
here.
right here.
Big man can run. Great effort.
Even Renfroe was smiling about that. But now he's behind 0-2. And Newcomb's pitch is caught on and missed. 7 strikeouts for the big Massachusetts lefty. He has retired 13 straight, and now the top of his order looks to extend a 1-0 Atlanta lead in Game 3.
It's starting to fall here at SunTrust Park, but the good news, Ozzie Albies is set to lead off for the Braves. And man, has he made a name for himself so far this season. But he's not the only success story the Braves have had from that small island of Curacao. So he posted this picture just the other day. Back in 2006, Ozzie's 9th birthday, his first time ever meeting Andrew Jones. And guys, he told me this was one of the best moments he's had because his dad lined this up to surprise Ozzie to meet his baseball idol for the first time for his birthday gift. And I don't think they could have ever imagined that their lives would play out the way it did following that picture.
Love that, Kelsey. That's great stuff.
That's one great picture. This one's not so great. We told you that rain was in the forecast. Ed Mangan went out between innings and was talking with Joe West, the crew chief, about the bad weather approaching the ballpark. So as a preventative measure, Ed Mangan and his ground crew will cover the infield, get the tarp out, and hope that it'll be a brief passing shower here at SunTrust Park. Good news is Atlanta already has the lead. They'll be coming up here in the bottom of the 6th inning with a 1-0 advantage thanks to Charlie Culberson's solo homer an inning ago. And Sean Newcomb, the way he is pitching, hopes that it'll be a very brief delay and Atlanta's offense can get back to work and give them a little more margin with which to play here in Game 3 of this series. So very light rain falling. It's expected to get a little heavier here for about 10-12 minutes or so, and then hopefully it'll stop and we'll get back to baseball without too long of a delay. 1-0 Atlanta. Rain delay at SunTrust Park. We'll come back with more after a quick break. 7 o'clock Eastern time. The ongoing question is, will this delay impact Sean Newcomb? Will he be able to come back out? It's been, what, 15 minutes or so, roughly?
Yeah, I would say at least that much.
And so Braves have yet to hit in this bottom of the 6th inning. The top of the order is coming up. So we'll see what decisions Brian Snitker and Chuck Hernandez make with regards to Sean Newcomb, who's pitched brilliant baseball through 6 innings of shutout ball. The lone Braves run, a Charlie Culberson homer in the 5th.
I don't see anyone throwing in the bullpen. I'll take that as a positive sign for Sean.
So Ozzie Albies will go to work for Atlanta. Ozzie is 0 for 2 and 1 for 10 in the series. Lyles back in action. His 70th pitch is lifted in the air to shallow right center. A trio of Padres converge. Now it's 2 of them, and Margot makes the play. And there's the out.
That's pretty bold on Margot's part. You don't want to get run over by Reyes.
A 25-minute delay was, I believe, what they announced. And Dansby Swanson, the hitter, he's 1 for 2.
I guess the hard stuff kind of just missed us, huh?
Hope so. Hope it circles us.
And Lyles just missed. Ellis held it there for a moment, but didn't get the call. As you heard Jerome report, Toronto beat the Nationals 2-0 today. So if the Braves can win this game, they take a 2.5 game lead over the Nationals. The Phillies lead 4-1 in Milwaukee. That's in the 8th inning at Miller Park. The Phillies start play 4 games back. And Atlanta, if they can win today, would have a 4-1 homestand working. A very important homestand here in mid-June. Galvis at short. Nice stretch by Hosmer, and Dansby is out number 2. That was close.
It's a lot closer than it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Nice hustle.
And here's Freddie Freeman, who's 0 for 2. Now the Braves bullpen is working. Lyles back to action. The pitch is an inside corner strike.
You know, we talked about how really the next couple weeks we need to take advantage of the schedule that we were playing, Joe. And compared to the Nats, who had to play the Yankees, you know, Toronto, and I think they got a couple tough ones next week too.
Well, look, let's face it, the Braves are in a stretch, 5 straight series against teams below 500. Then the schedule gets very difficult leading up to the All-Star break. First the pitch. And I know the Braves players all take these games one day at a time. It's an old cliche, but it served them well. But after the final home game against the Cincinnati Reds, Atlanta goes to St. Louis, goes to the Yankees, and goes to Milwaukee for 4. Then they're home with 2 against Toronto and 3 against the high-flying Arizona Diamondbacks, and then start the second half after the break with a 3-game series in Washington.
Yeah, build up a little cushion here while you can.
Right. Freddie hits a mile-high fly ball right down the right field line. Did he keep it fair? He did not. That was foul pole high and just to the right side.
That was light tower high.
Yeah, I said, looking at the schedule, that 10-day road trip, Yankees, Cardinals, Brewers, going to be a big one.
Lyles now with a 3-2 pitch. And fouled away.
It's one of those where you say, you know what, we can go 5-5. We'll take it right now.
Right.
And Freddie beats the shift again. That is amazing, isn't it? Yeah, it's a 340-foot long, 600-foot high foul ball to right, then fouls the ball to the right side, and then hits one the other way past the shortstop.
But you know what, Chip? They're going to that shotgun formation. At least Galvis is still on the third base side of second. but certainly playing up the middle.
Well, we said it. I think enough teams are finally realizing maybe with nobody on, okay, let's do the big full-fledged shift sometimes, but I never would for the sole fact that Freddie can hit it anywhere.
So Freddie at first with 2 outs. Braves have 4 hits, and that's off the plate. Stay tuned for the middle of this 7th inning. It's the stretch presented by Rooms to Go. Only question is who will pitch the 7th for Atlanta. Will it be Newcomb or will it be Winkler? 1 ball, no strikes. And popped up. Perella at second. Hardly had to move. And now he's in a quarter step and puts it away, and that retires the side. 6 in the book in Atlanta. 1-0 thanks to a Culberson homer. We'll see who pitches the 7th next. Rest of the world look to tame Shinnecock Hills. Good luck with that. It all starts at 10 a.m. on your local Fox station or stream it live on Fox Sports Go.
And if you haven't got a chance, please go Google what Phil Mickelson today, because it's phenomenal.
It is.
It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
he finally had enough, Joe, and said, you know what?
Yeah, the USGA really goes out of their way to try to make the course tough for the PGA Tour players, best golfers in the world. They have succeeded because it is unbelievable.
We almost feel like they're taking it out because of what happened at Erin Hills last year. They lengthened that course so much, but then the wind never blew and they didn't set up the pins real hard and guys tore it up. Length is not a problem on tour.
Nope.
Well, Sean Newcomb tore up the Padres. 6 innings of 7 strikeout, 2-hit ball. But after the 25-minute rain delay and the Braves' offensive 6th inning, he will be taken down. And it's Dan Winkler's turn to pitch for Atlanta. And let's be honest, guys, the Braves bullpen this month has had its share of base runners and has had its share of problems. They lead by the skinniest of margins today. They need 3 innings with a 1-run lead. As Villanueva hasn't made contact yet. He's struck out twice and is in an 0-2 count.
Well, arguably, I think you could make the case for Dan Winkler being the most effective Braves pitcher out of the bullpen so far, the most effective reliever. He's been really good from day one. But the one thing that keeps plaguing the bullpen, and Dan Winkler included, is first batters faced and walks. So far this month, 41 innings for the bullpen, 22 walks.
Yeah, of the men currently residing in Brian Snitker's bullpen in the month of June. Swing and a miss. Villanueva's got the hat trick. 14 straight Padres are retired, 8 of them on strikeouts. But in the month of June, there is only 1 current Atlanta reliever that hasn't walked a batter. 1.
Luke Jackson.
No. A.J. Minter. which is somewhat ironic because in May, AJ was walking guys.
Yes, he was. Nice to see that he's cut that down.
Here's Reyes. He and Villanueva are swinging and missing. Those two have combined for 5 of the 8 Padres strikeouts. Again, they strike out on average 9 times a game. That's 3 innings with no contact. And check swing foul out of play.
That guy right there, Villanueva, his favorite player growing up in Mexico, Chipper Jones.
1-1 pitch. He is way upstairs. Nothing wrong with loving Chipper Jones, but if you're from Mexico and you like third baseman, wouldn't Vinny Castilla have to be on that list?
Well, he's too young to remember or know about Aurelio Rodriguez, who was one of the best third basemen I ever saw.
Foul back. 2-2.
You know, you talk about our bullpen with the walks, and that's the one thing. All the guys in our bullpen have phenomenal stuff, and so it's like there's no. I feel comfortable that teams aren't going to get 2, 3, 4 hits an inning off them, but when you mix in the walk, that's what hurts.
Can't defend it. As Winkler ready with his 2-2 pitch to Franmil Reyes, and that's over the screen again. Cubs and Cardinals play later tonight. The Giants are in LA. Mets face Arizona. Those are your late National League games. Here it's 1-0 Atlanta. A Culberson homer in the 5th. The pitch. Good at bat continues for Reyes here. Yankees won today. They beat Tampa Bay 4-1. Yankees are 46-20. It's the second time in the last 50 years the Yankees have had 45 wins in their first 65 games played.
Want to guess who's got the best bullpen in June? The New York Yankees.
Is that right?
ERA of 0.65. That's not bad in the American League, is it?
No.
Number 2 is the much improved San Francisco Giants bullpen this month, talking about. Washington is 3rd. The Braves are 28th out of 30 teams with a 6.05 ERA. KC and Colorado behind them.
The 2-2 missed inside, a full count.
Isn't that ironic? Colorado went out and spent what, $140 million on relievers this offseason.
Yeah, right.
And it hasn't worked out. Weird thing is Colorado's 8 under 500 at home. When's the last time you'd said that about a Colorado Rocky club? Usually it's the other way around. They're 8 under on the road. Not this year. Rockies are 23-16 away from Coors Field. 11-19 at home.
Reyes is having some big swings. On a full count, would they dare go upstairs and try to get him like Newcomb did?
Let's find out. They got him. It was up, it was in, and he swung right through it.
Took a little off of it that time, though. That was his cutter, but he backed off of it just a bit.
It kind of backed up on him, and it was a perfect spot.
Sure did.
So one more out. We're on our way to the stretch presented by Rooms to Go. Freddie Galvis, the man that stands in the way of that. Galvis had a 5-for-5 night last night. The first Padre since John Jay to have a 5-for-5 game. Jay did that a couple of years ago. Galvis tonight is 0-for-2. Really, both clubs got a huge break. All our fears about the horrific shadow possibilities never came to pass today, but still a 1-0 game.
Yeah, it lasted about 3 innings or so, and that was about it.
Yeah.
There's a strike. It's even for Galvis. 1-1. Line drive over short, and that's down for a 2-out single. So Freddie Galvis has his 6th hit of the series, and he represents the tying run with Manuel Margot coming up. Marlins won today. They beat Baltimore 5-4. Baltimore is 19-50 on the year.
And I keep wondering when Buck Showalter is going to be removed as manager.
Or snap.
Line to center. And that takes care of Margot and the Padres.
Both he and their GM are at the end of their contracts. So there's.
I saw the interview, not Dan Duquette, Ned Colletti.
Is being talked of in the front office for Baltimore. We'll talk about that when they come to town. San Diego's in town, losing 1-0 in Game 3. It's time for the stretch.
The Stretch is brought to you by Rooms to Go.
Welcome to The Stretch, brought to you by Rooms to Go. During the rain delay, we heard from Commissioner Rob Manfred talking about what baseball should do, if anything at all, about the defensive strategy commonly known as the shift. As he is wont to do occasionally, he pontificated on a plethora of popular subjects among Major League Baseball this year, including, well, one that's been a hot button topic since 1973 when it was implemented in the American League, and that is the designated hitter. When he was asked about moving toward a universal DH, they use it in the minors, they use it in the American League, what about the senior circuit? You can see his quote right there. It appears as if he wants to make it a full-time strategy in the National League as well. I remember as a young boy, there was no DH. Didn't like it in the American League. And then when they started interleague play, Nick Green, in 1997, I thought, what a disadvantage for American League teams to have to travel to National League ballparks and sit one of their better hitters, maybe their best hitter, throughout a game. It was crazy. So instead of getting rid of the DH, he wants it in both leagues. I hate it. I hate it. What do you think? You're a former player. What's your opinion on it?
Well, I don't like it, for one. I think the game is more pure in the National League. I like to play strategy with the manager. As a former utility guy, what I wanted to do when I was not in the lineup, I wanted to play along with the manager. I might hit here. I might double switch here. That's what I like about the game. You in the American League, I played in the American League a long time. And manager, all they do is write the lineup out, throw those 9 guys out there. There's really no strategy involved. I played a lot in 2006 with the Yankees as a utility guy. In 3.5 months, I got 77 at-bats, and that was a lot of at-bats for a utility guy.
Let's bring in Jeff and Joe. And Joe, back in your Mariners and Royals days, you sat there, and when they brought in the DH here, you're looking at a total change of scenery, and now we've just grown up with it. Would you like to see the DH over in the National League?
Negative. No, thank you. I think, as Nick said, from a purist standpoint, I like the game where you've got the matchups, you've got double switches, you've got different strategies going on that you don't ever see in the American League. I hope that doesn't happen. I said a minute ago, I don't care anything about what they do at the shifts. They can leave the shifts alone, but I think they'll have a war on their hands with the DH. And what I don't want to see happen is a knee-jerk reaction to what happened to Tanaka with the Yankees, who pulled a hammy or pulled both hamstrings when he had to run from second to home. I say get in shape. If you're going to play and you're going to have to hit, get in shape. You might have to actually run.
I used to always say, if David Wells can hit and run, anybody can.
Yeah, right.
I hate the DH. I don't want it. Same thing Nick said. I played the American League. I saw everything happen. You write the lineup up, you go. But at the end of the day, I hate to say it, I think it's going to come. I really do. I think eventually the DH is going to come in both leagues.
Well, if it does, one of the reasons it will is because of the alignment maybe changing the schedule and how that all works out, fellas.
Yeah, I rue the day that it does come, but I agree it's coming soon. All right, before we get back to the game, a quick word from Rooms to Go.
Check out the new leather collections at Rooms to Go. Great looks, great styles, and of course, great prices. Only at Rooms to Go.
I'll tell you what, Joe, these ratings have to be flying up without Chip here on the stretch. There he is.
He's back.
Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot, Jeff. Hey, what's Mark Grant doing? Here's Todd Flowers. Ground ball.
It's over with Dan.
That's right. Well, how about some insurance, boys? 7th, 8th, 9th. That's been the fun time for Atlanta's offense.
Yeah, that was what kind of scared me when Reyes was standing up there. He's such a huge individual that one swing could tie this game up. It's like Braves were floating along pretty good last night till the 7th inning.
And on the other side of the diamond, what a job by Jordan Lyles today. After getting frankly beaten up in his last 2 starts, he's made one mistake, the homer to Culberson. He's held the Braves to 1 run, 4 hits. And the subplot of this is tomorrow we are presuming it'll be a bullpen game for San Diego. So that entire relief corps should be rested and ready for game 4 of the series tomorrow.
That's a great point.
Little number hit toward Hosmer at first, and Lyles to the bag. And there's an easy out to start the home 7th. Tyler 0 for 3, 1 man down.
And I think that had a lot to do with Andy Green's decision to bring Jordan Lyles back. Obviously, he was only, I think, 72, 73 pitches, but you know, you saw Sean, you know, they didn't want to send him back out there after sitting for 30 minutes or so. But I think with Jordan Lyles, this is a game where Andy Green realizes I need to try to get 7 out of him. Only use 1, maybe 2 relievers today and have my full bullpen tomorrow. Which is why I hate the bullpen days, but.
Yeah. Charlie rolls one toward Galvis. He charged, got the right hop, and made a gorgeous play.
And a bullpen day, Joe, I'm sure you know, feels like spring training all over. Facing 4 guys.
That's what happened in San Diego.
And I said I was excited about the bullpen day in San Diego. I said, oh, we're about to light them up, because I said you bring in 5, 6 guys. No way they're all on. Well, they all were that day.
So what's the challenge of that for you guys as a hitter, from a hitter's perspective? What's the biggest problem you face in a game like that?
I'm going to say that it's, and I don't ever remember having to deal with that, but I'm going to guess. Actually, I'll just defer to Jeff. Let him answer this first.
Well, I think when you talk about a bullpen day, like I said, you're preparing for 4 different guys at any situation. You never know what's going to happen, and you know, it is a disadvantage to probably snit managing wise, because you're like, they'll probably end up starting Strom again, that lefty, tomorrow, and it's like, okay, I can play a couple of my righties that I do, but then by the second time they're up, then your righties in. Do you bring the lefty in? And you know, really who benefits from it is whoever San Diego plays next.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it all shifts over to Kevin Seitzer. You know, well, you got to have your scouting book out there and ready to go and update everything for the guys as soon as they make another change.
Hosmer, nice diving play from the seat of his pants, throws to the pitcher and not in time. Ender beat the play at first after a gorgeous effort by Hosmer at first base, and the inning continues on a bang play with 2 outs.
What a play. I didn't think they had any chance. Padres may take a look at this to see if he kept his foot on the base.
I still think Ender beat it out. Yeah, Ender beat it out.
He sure did.
I was a little surprised there. Hosmer made a great play, but he kind of leaned back and threw it, and he couldn't get anything on it, Joe.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a lollipop throw.
So that brings Camargo up with 2 outs. That's the 5th Atlanta hit. Ender 1 for 3 in the game. Camargo 0 for 2 in the game. Padres bullpen is busy. Back to the bullpen game. That the Braves went through it last week and saw the Padres pitcher in those kinds of situations. Will that help them, or does it matter because they're pitching so well anyway?
Well, I think it'll help them a little bit because we saw them last week. This is sometimes when you get a West Coast team, you might see them in May and then not see them again for 4 months. But the fact that most of these same bullpen guys are here definitely gives you an advantage.
Well, you want to get enough off their early bullpen guys that at the end, when they start going to Yates and Hand and Castillo,
that's got the lead.
That pretty much signals they've got the lead and they're going to close you out.
1-1 pitch for Johan Camargo. And that's out of play, foul, a ball and 2 strikes. Well, it is kind of becoming, I don't want to say a trend in baseball, but there are a couple of teams that are doing this now. Tampa Bay Rays have had openers. Pitch. Get the first 3 outs, first 6 outs.
That's why they're losing.
So their so-called starter doesn't have to face those hitters an extra time through the order and might get the game to the 7th. As Camargo swings and misses, and that retires the side. Jordan Lyles has pitched a beautiful game, but once again, no run support. He'll be pinch hit for when the Padres come up in the 8th inning.
All military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Couple of changes for Atlanta. Peter Borges has taken over in left field for the Braves. He'll bat in the 9th spot when the Braves come up in the 8th inning. And on to pitch is left-hander A.J. Minter. Minter will face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for San Diego, nursing a 1-0 Braves lead.
A.J. pitched in both games against the Mets at the beginning of this homestand, but this is his first appearance against the Padres. Against the Mets, combined an inning and 2/3, no hits, no runs, no walks. Struck out 3. I think he's been taking lately a page out of the Sean Newcomb book. He's been more aggressive in pounding the zone with his good stuff.
A.J. Ellis, the first man to greet him. He's 1 for 2, and the first pitch strike. Dan Winkler pitched an inning, gave up a hit, 2 strikeouts. 9 Padres have gone down on strikes in the first 7 innings. The 0-1. Right there at 97, 0-2. Good try, but a little low.
You're talking about him taking a page out of Sean. You look at AJ, and maybe out of anybody down there in the bullpen, he's the one that can pound the zone because the stuff moves so much.
Yes, it does.
Swing and a miss. Ellis over the top.
That's a 92-mile-per-hour back foot cutter, not slider, cutter.
That is nasty. Whew. Now, they still have a right-hander on their bench, I believe. You got Matt Caesar over there, but they're going to a lefty pinch hitter instead.
I don't know. If I'm Janikowski, do you look at Andy Green and said, you know, we got a righty over there? I don't know if you know that.
Here's my good friend Matt.
Yeah, so this is a late birthday gift for Janikowski, who turned 27 yesterday. And let's see, 269 average against lefties.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Caesar 185.
how many lefties has he faced like this?
Well, he's had 26 at bats against them. Caesar's had 27. The quality of those lefties I can't answer. But just raw numbers, Jankowski a higher average.
Good cut.
1 ball, 1 strike. This guy's been a tough out for the Braves. Scored a couple of runs in their 9-3 victory last night. One ball, 1 strike. Little late at 98.
Little 92, 93 cutter right here, Joe. I think he's gone.
I agree.
Base is empty, 1 out, the 1-2 pitch. He struck him out.
Good gas.
Or just gas him up at 98. That's where it is. You think Janikowski's going back to Andy Green? Thanks, Coach.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a 50-game hitting streak before that. Before that at bat. Man, that away, AJ.
So back to the top, it's Jose Perella, who doubled to start the game. It was an 8-pitch at bat against Sean Newcomb. Got to third on a ground out. Renfroe walked, and then Villanueva and Reyes struck out swinging against Sean. And he never looked back. This one's hit high in the air to center. No carry to it. Very effective inning for A.J. Minter. 3 up, 3 down. 1-0 Atlanta. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The 8th.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them.
Brian Snitker is, I think that's a smile, as his club leads 1-0 thanks to a Charlie Culberson homer and excellent pitching by Newcomb, Winkler, and Minter. Excellent pitching has been the norm for Kirby Yates, the brother of Tyler Yates, former Atlanta reliever. Kirby Yates is getting some all-star attention and probably some trade attention from the rest of the National and American leagues.
I'll say 4-1 on the strikeouts to walks, a 1 ERA, throws 95, has a good slider and a split. What a start to his season.
And I hope his brother's watching our broadcast today. The Yates family from Hawaii. Hope Tyler's doing well. He was a good guy. Did some good work in his days as a Brave Pensman. Hope he's doing well as Peter Borges leads off for the Braves. Borges, Albies, and Swanson for Atlanta in the 8th. In the 9th, San Diego will have their 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up. Arodys Vizcaíno is getting ready in the Braves bullpen. And Borges broke his bat and pops it into foul ground at first, 1 out. A huge crowd at SunTrust Park today. As you see it live from our Xfinity cam, 41,916 fans, the largest crowd in the history of SunTrust Park today.
How about that?
And the Braves go over 1 million in attendance, 1,035,668 officially, with a game left on this part of the homestand. A strike for Ozzie, 1-1. Ozzie 0 for 3, 2 pop outs. And a line drive hammered towards center, right on the screws, but right at Margot. 2 out. And it's up to Dansby to see if he can keep the inning alive for Freddie Freeman, who strides to the on deck circle. Dansby 1 for 3, robbed of a hit by Villanueva back in the 3rd. And a swing and a miss. Hey, our pal Ryan Klesko's watching the game today. Ryan, a former Brave and Padre.
Put together some good numbers in San Diego.
And Ryan's son, Hunter Klesko, is playing for the Vine Ingle Little League for the state championship 9-year-old group in Warner Robins tomorrow.
Tell him to drop some bombs.
Yeah.
You know Ryan's going to tell him to lift and separate.
Ryan's talking about launch angle, I guarantee you, with him.
Go, Hunter.
Yep. So good luck to the Klesko gang. And good luck to all the participants in the state championships tomorrow.
I can't imagine why Ryan would name his son Hunter. Can you?
No balls, 2 strikes. If my dad were here, you know what he'd say?
Because he's 7 was taken.
There's a happy fan. There's the count 0-2. Well, what a leg up a team has when their bullpen is pitching as dominantly as the Padres is. As Mark Grant said, there are a lot of folks around baseball who didn't expect them to be hanging around the 500 mark 2.5 months into the season, but here they are.
And that's the way you do it right there, because if you get a lead after 6, if you have a dominant bullpen, you can win all those games. And these are big league players. They're going to have some games where they're going to have leads into the 6 and 7.
1-2 pitch, and the dirt. Dansby didn't chase it. Well, again, the fascinating thing for the Padres, they have only played the Diamondbacks, the team leading their division, 3 times. They've got a lot of action left with them head to head. So are they in this race in the West, or are they pretenders? 2-2 count. Turned on, foul.
2 rockets. Full foul.
I think you said it, Chip. As many games as they've got on the road in the next 3-4 weeks, we'll know after that.
And the same for the Braves. This is a good team. This is a team that could win this division.
Absolutely.
Do they need some help? Probably so.
Who doesn't?
And they've played
Everybody gets help.
And they've played themselves in a position where they can add instead of subtracting. And that's what everybody wanted to see here in 2018.
College World Series started today also.
North Carolina won the first game.
Yeah, they put 6 on that lefty from Oregon State that he didn't get drafted again this year. The kid that got out for the I don't know how you say it.
3 balls, 2 strikes. And Dansby takes strike 3 at the bottom of the strike zone. He tried to influence the call, but Yates made a perfect pitch. So we go to the fateful 9th. Atlanta has the smallest possible lead, but it's a lead, 1-0.
At Rooms to Go, you can go any way you want. Go style, go savings, go today.
Arodys Vizcaino is the man at the center of the diamond for Atlanta. He's got the 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up for San Diego. And guys looking for save number 14 in 16 tries.
Has not given up a run in his last 8 outings. There you go. Last 8 appearances, 6 for 6 in saves, 9 strikeouts in those 8 innings.
And this is where your closers make their money. You got to go through the 2, 3, 4 heart of the order.
And this is where those base on balls and first batter faced totals look very, very important with a hit of the quality of Eric Hosmer up there. Hosmer today 0 for 3. Leads things off. No runs, 3 hits for the Padres, a run on 5 hits for the Braves. Both clubs have left 4 on base so far. And Powder River over the corner at 98. That'll work. Strike 1. Padres are 8-6 in 1-run games. The Braves are 10-4 in 1-run affairs. Washington already lost. If Atlanta wins, they'll have a 2.5 game lead in the East. The pitch, swing and a miss. Took something off, and Hosmer almost dislocated his back swinging at that pitch.
He almost swung around twice.
That's where you talk about Hosmer as good as he's been. You can kind of take advantage of him as far as he's never seen Vizcaino. He's never seen any of these guys in the National League before.
Swing and a miss. 3 pitches. Takes care of Hosmer. 1 out.
We all know that Vizcaino can throw hard. To me, his day is made by his slider that he just threw right there. If he's got a slider working and he's willing to throw it, he's lights out.
Think about it. He just went 98 with his fastball, changeup, slider.
And the Padres offense has struck out 12 times in this game. 4 innings with no contact. That is almost impossible to be successful offensively at this level. Renfroe didn't get it. Strike 1. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout.
You're right, Joe. That's Viz's big thing. When he can keep that slider low, he's unhittable.
But there are even nights where he's bouncing it, and with runners on base that he may have inherited.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to allow them to move up or score. He's sometimes hesitant to use it because he doesn't have any confidence that particular night. He's got it working tonight.
No balls, 2 strikes for the Padres left fielder Hunter Renfroe. Jeff's favorite player, Corey Spangenberg, is in the on deck circle.
Yeah, Spangenberger.
The 1-2. Vizcaino stumbled a bit after he made that pitch, and now he's got a full count. No walks.
No.
That's one thing you notice about Doug Eddings, Joe, is he always throws the ball back to the pitcher. You ever notice that?
Mm-hmm.
And he throws a bullet every time.
So the 3-2 pitch. He is out of play, foul.
It's a good pitch there.
Good job by Renfroe to spoil it.
Again, Vizcaino brings it home, and it's banged toward third and out of play.
That might have been ball 4.
It was. Ran that one in hard.
Again, the payoff. And it's lifted toward left. Borges on the run, won't get there. It's down for a hit. Renfroe on his way to second, and after falling behind 0-2, he doubles with 1 out and represents the tying run.
Was that a slider? Looked like
a slider.
They went with a 3-2 slider after he fouled off some fastballs and left it out over the middle of the plate. That's a little bit like the pitch he got last night when he was behind in the count that drove in 2 runs, a hanging splitter.
So Spangenberg hits for Villanueva. 1-0 lead in jeopardy here in the 9th inning. A Renfroe double with 1 out. And a little late, strike 1. Spangenberg, hitting .215 for the year, is 1 for 14 as a pinch hitter. But that one was a homer off the bench. One of the 6 homers he's hit all year. He too is a strikeout candidate, 43 of them against only 4 walks. He's gone right after him, 0-2.
He really swings hard. It does not matter the count. So even though Arodys is ahead 0-2 here, he's not going to shorten up his swing and try to tie the game up. He's going to be trying to hit it hard. And that's why he's got so many strikeouts.
I'd like to see Arodys just keep coming with the heat right here. Something maybe up in the zone, a little bit away. Don't speed up his bat for him.
The 0-2 pitch. He hit it with an 0-2 pitch.
Back of the arm, looked like he had an elbow guard on that might have helped offset that a little bit. I mean, this is reminding me a lot of last night's game.
Yeah.
Braves comfortable with a 3-2 lead into the 7th. 2 out, ahead in the count, 1 and 2. And not only did Renfroe get a base hit and drive in a couple of runs to flip the game around, Padres got hot, went on to
They scored
beat
5
up
that inning.
Yeah.
Well, what's so frustrating, he had Renfroe 0-2, got to a full count, then a double, and then on an 0-2 pitch, Spangenberg takes a painful first base. And now Franmil Reyes, the batter. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, but enormous power. And he's pushed off the plate. Ball 1.
And that home run he hit off Luke Jackson in San Diego we were talking about earlier was on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
That's sunk out of sight. Even count.
It's also, if you can get him out in front of a slider low, he's also a double play candidate right here.
Good point.
This would be a perfect time for the first one of those from Reyes this year. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 on, 1 out. Pitch.
And he hasn't hit into one because he is swinging straight up.
I was going to say, Joe, right here, I'm going right back 98 up. Newcomb got him there all day. No reason to change.
One ball, 2 strikes.
That's what they did.
And he fouled it straight back at 99 miles an hour.
Come back with it again?
Yes. Slider right now is not a good choice, I don't think, because of the fear of trying to make sure you don't make a mistake with it and allows the runners to move up if it's in the dirt.
And like we said again, I just don't like the idea of speeding his bat up. He can't catch up with that high fastball. Why give him an opportunity?
So let's see what Flowers' selection here is with Reyes in the box. It was a slider. It was at the back point of the plate, and Reyes laid off. 2-2. Galvis is on deck. The Braves would just as soon not see him in the 9th.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd rather have just a double play right here.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Strike him out. Perfectly placed. 4 strikeouts for Reyes and a huge second out.
Boy, look at that ball move. That 2-seamer maybe. No, that's 4-seamer. 4-seamer grip.
4-seamer grip, but he just throws it so hard it still moved.
So here's Galvis. 6 hits in his last 2 against the Braves, including a 7th inning single today. Strike called at the knees. He didn't like it.
What was that?
Change up. Great pitch.
Whoa.
89 miles per hour.
Record crowd roaring. And the 0-2 pitch will do it again.
I like that selection right there, Joe, coming back with the fastball. I feel like now you got him set up. You can go fastball or changeup right here, and I feel like you got a good chance to get him.
That was a good changeup from him, one you don't often see. I mean, from a pitch selection standpoint.
Another 0-2. And a very good take. Arodis has had to work hard. It'll take him at least 25 pitches to get 3 outs in the ninth. Here it is. Oh, he chased. Man, that was collarbone high at 99, and Galvis got a piece of it.
Great job staying alive.
That's not usually one a hitter can fight off.
No, not at 99.
Renfroe and Spangenberg, the runners, the 1-2. Ground ball to short. Dansby's got it. Nobody at second. The throw to first ends the game. Atlanta wins it 1-0. Not a walk-off, but another game winner for Charlie Culberson, who led off the 5th inning with the only run of the day. Sean Newcomb, brilliant innings, 6 innings of work, earns his 8th victory. And the Braves have a 2.5 game lead in the East thanks to Washington's loss north of the border.
If you're going to go anywhere this year and try to get to the postseason, you got to win close ball games, and the Braves held on to do that today.
You know what? Last night our pitching kind of let us down there in the key innings tonight. What can you say? Newcomb, Winkler, Minter, Vizcaino, 13 punch outs. That's how you win a ball game.
8th shutout for Atlanta, their 11th one-run win. And Brian Snitker has a lot to applaud as the Braves rebound from a rough night last night to win 1-0 before a record-setting crowd at SunTrust Park today. Plenty of good things to talk about on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. My partners Joe Simpson and Jeff Francoeur will join me for that as we recap a 1-0 Braves win here in Atlanta on an awesome afternoon for baseball. Stay tuned, friends. Post-game shows coming right up.